If I lost everything tomorrow? No savings, no investments, no safety net, just me, my phone, and a bank account sitting at zero. I honestly think I'd recover way faster than I would have a few years ago. And that's weird to say, because growing up, money always felt fragile. I remember watching my parents stress over bills like one bad week could destroy everything. And when you grow up around that kind of fear, you don't just become broke financially, you become broke mentally. You start believing money is something that happens to other people, not you. So if I had to start from zero again today, this is exactly what I'd do. Not motivational fantasy, not just wake up at 5 a.m. Realistically, step by step. The hardest part about being broke isn't even the money. It's the feeling, the anxiety when your card declines, the guilt after buying food, the way you start avoiding your banking app like it's bad news waiting for you. I know that feeling way too well, and honestly, when people talk about building wealth online, they usually skip the beginning. They talk about investing six figures, but nobody talks about how to breathe when you're financially drowning. So this video is for the person starting from absolute zero, maybe negative, maybe paycheck to paycheck, maybe secretly terrified about the future. Here's what I'd actually focus on first. The very first thing I'd do, stop performing wealth seriously. Because when I was broke, I wasted so much money trying to not look broke. And I think a lot of people do this without realizing it. Ordering food you can't afford, buying clothes to feel respected, upgrading phones while your savings account is empty. I used to think small purchases didn't matter because they weren't luxury. But being broke is usually death by 1,000 tiny decisions. And the truth is, most people are quietly struggling too. So if I had to restart from zero, I'd immediately cut unnecessary subscriptions, impulse purchases, and lifestyle spending meant to impress people. Not forever, just long enough to create breathing room. Because you cannot build wealth while trying to maintain an image. And honestly, one of the most financially freeing moments of my life was realizing nobody is thinking about me as much as I thought they were. The second thing I do is create what I call a survival budget. Not a perfect budget. A survival budget, meaning what's the minimum amount of money I need each month to stay alive, stable, and sane. Because when people fail budgeting, it's usually because they create fantasy budgets. They cut everything, make life miserable, then quit after 8 days. What actually worked for me was simpler. I split expenses into 3 categories. Needs, important. Ego. Needs are rent, groceries, transportation, bills. Important. Gym, basic entertainment. Things that protect mental health. Ego spending. That's the dangerous category. Stuff bought for validation. And once I started seeing my spending emotionally instead of mathematically, everything changed. Because money leaks usually come from emotion, not logic. Real quick, if you've ever felt behind financially, I just want you to know you're not alone. A lot of us are trying to rebuild quietly while pretending everything's okay. So if this video is helping you feel less overwhelmed, make sure to subscribe. I make videos about money, mindset, and rebuilding your life financially, especially if you weren't taught any of this growing up. All right, back to the video. This might be controversial, but if I had literally $0 again, I would focus more on increasing income than obsessing over investing at first. Because investing matters, but investing $50 while your financial life is collapsing won't magically save you. Your first mission is stability, and I think social media sometimes makes people feel guilty for not investing immediately. But your first investment should be buying yourself time, more breathing room, more margin. So I'd ask, how can I increase my income by even a few $100s a month? Not overnight millionaire stuff, just realistic upgrades, freelancing, selling a skill, part-time remote work, content creation, delivery apps temporarily, learning high-income skills online, because an extra $500 a month changes everything when you're starting from zero. That's emergency savings, debt payoff, investing capital, and reduced anxiety. And people underestimates how much clearer your brain works once survival mode calms down. Then, my next obsession would be saving the first $1,000. Not investing, saving. Because your first $1,000 isn't really about money. It's psychological. It changes how you move through life. I still remember the first time I had emergency savings. It wasn't even a huge amount, but for the first time, life didn't feel one accident away from disaster. And that feeling is powerful. So if I had to restart, I'd automate small amounts immediately. Even if it's $5 a day, $25 a week, tiny transfers. Because consistency matters more than intensity. Most people try to transform their finances dramatically. But wealth is usually built boringly, quietly, repeatedly. Once I had stability and emergency savings, then I'd start investing. But honestly, I'd keep it extremely simple. Because beginner investors lose so much time trying to become experts overnight. I'd probably focus on low-cost index funds, retirement accounts, and long-term investing. That's it. No trying to beat the market. No gambling on hype stocks. No pretending I'm a financial genius because I watch 3 TikToks. The biggest thing I've learned about investing is this. Time matters more than intelligence. The people who build wealth usually aren't the loudest. They're the most consistent. And one thing nobody tells you. When you grow up broke, investing can actually feel emotionally uncomfortable. Because you're delaying rewards, trusting the future, thinking long-term for the first time. That's hard when your entire life taught you to survive short-term. But that mindset shift changes everything. If I had to start from zero again, I wouldn't try to look rich. I wouldn't chase fast money. I wouldn't panic invest. I'd focus on reducing financial pressure, increasing income, building emotional discipline, and creating small, consistent habits. Because the biggest lie I believed growing up was, wealth is built through one huge moment, but usually, it's built through hundreds of quiet decisions nobody sees. And honestly, if you're struggling financially right now, you are not behind. A lot of people are silently rebuilding their lives right now, especially our generation. The economy feels weird. Housing feels impossible. Everything's expensive. But learning how money actually works can genuinely change your life over time, even slowly. And if that's the kind of journey you're on, subscribe. Seriously. Because this channel is for people trying to rebuild financially without pretending to be perfect. No fake guru stuff, no Lamborghinis, just real conversations about money, stress, survival, and building a better future. And honestly, I think those stories matter more.